Yeah, long-awaited peace, right? You know, President Trump, as we pointed out a moment ago, says the hostages are expected to be released on Monday. What are you expecting, especially now that Israel's withholding the release of that leader I mentioned a moment ago, Marwan Barghouti? Could this hurt the durability of this ceasefire agreement?
No, I really don't think so. I think this deal is going through, barring some kind of major unforeseen circumstance. Barghouti isn't even a Hamas member. He was a leader of the Fatah party, part of the PLO, which of course is in a blood feud with Hamas. So the fact that Barghouti's left off of this, they'll get some other Hamas figure in exchange. I don't think it stops this deal from going forward. I think it's just simply at this point, this phase one of the deal, which is really this exchange of hostages for prisoners, including some Palestinian prisoners, at least 250, with a lot of Israeli blood on their hands, who almost certainly will try and return to the fight. I think that part of the deal with this partial Israeli withdrawal is going to go forward. Everybody's got too much of an interest in seeing it move ahead and not getting on the wrong side of President Trump.
Yeah, this is a pretty robust ceasefire framework. I know part of it calls for this international body to govern Gaza, and the U.S. says roughly 200 U.S. CENTCOM personnel will be sent to Israel to help monitor the deal. This is some of what Trump said this week about that. Take a listen.
What is the international stabilization force that's going to deploy to Gaza? What is that going to look like?
To be determined, really, I think there's going to be a large group of people determining what it will be, and a group of people funding it that are very rich countries are going to be funding it. People want to see this work. It's going to work. It's absolutely going to work. And it starts, it's already started. We've signed, as you know. Everybody's agreed.
What do you think this setup will look like? And could that potentially put U.S. troops at risk? Because while there's a lot of praise for this deal, I think that becomes the questions that some Americans are asking right now.
Yeah, I think, all of these details about, what does a real day after framework look like in Gaza? There's a lot of details that still need to be worked out, including this issue of who's going to compose this international stabilization force and what their mission is going to be. I think, having American troops in some kind of leadership role, but outside of Gaza, I think it would be terribly perilous to put Americans inside of Gaza, giving opportunities for remnants of Hamas, perhaps Iran, some other terrorist groups. Americans would have a real target on their back in a way that Arab states and Arab troops would not have in the same way. So I hope the Americans are involved, but more either stationed out of Egypt, stationed out of Israel, kind of giving oversight, logistical support, command and control support, helping to organize this force that will actually go into Gaza and do that really difficult work of trying ultimately to disarm Hamas and demilitarize the Gaza Strip, which is still a long way from being done. We've already seen in the aftermath of this ceasefire, Hamas fighters putting back on their uniforms, going back into the streets, taking control, and actually taking vengeance against certain people they viewed as collaborators with the Israelis.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.